Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be a little more in depth about the chapter and ways that we can apply it to our everyday living. We are in Exodus 13 1 through 22, and it says that the Hebrews will be set apart because they keep this unique feast, and everybody will see it. As Christians, we are to be set apart in the way that we raise our children, in the way that we demonstrate love to others, in the way that we would help the poor and try to live the way that God has asked us to live. And in doing this, we'll be obeying God. Now, countries, religions, people all have customs and traditions that set them apart, and for other people to see the way that they live or the way that they celebrate or believe. And God tells us we should do the same thing. But the way Christians show that they are marked is by the way that they give love to one another. And that is in John 13, 34 and 35. So you have to ask yourself, are you being set apart from everybody else? Or do you look basically the same? Do you just fit in? God tells us that we are to give Him everything, right? We are to give God the first thing in our morning, the first of our time, the first of our money, the first of our talents, the first of everything that we have. All that we have came from God anyways. Why is it so hard to give just a little bit back? God doesn't always work in our lives the way that we would like for Him to. Just as God had took the Israelites on a longer journey to get where they needed to be, He didn't take them the shortest route. Unfortunately, in our lives, He's not always going to let us take the shortest route either, or the easiest road, because God can see ahead. He can see the traps, the trials, the problems, the obstacles that we're going to have to maneuver around. And God knows our ability. He knows our weaknesses, and He knows if certain things are going to set us back in life. And if taking that shortest route, going down the easiest road, is going to make us have setbacks in our life and in our belief and in our relationships, God's not going to let us go down that road. He's going to say, nope, I'm going to take you the longer one. It's going to take us a longer time to get there, but we're going to learn lessons on the way, and it's a lot more safe for you. And we just have to trust God, and we have to allow Him to lead us. When we fight against God, we make life so much harder. We bring more stress into our lives. We bring more chaos into our lives because we won't just listen. We want to fight against it, and we want to think that we know best, when most of the time we really don't, because we go off of the feeling of here and now. We're not always thinking logically of what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in a week, what's going to happen in a month. So when we're making our plans, we just gotta go with our feeling. And God sees the whole thing. He sees things that we can't see. And a lot of times, if we will just submit to God and give in, that we will see at the end that this was the better route. And a lot of times, after we're done fighting, we go the route that God wants us to go in the first place. And God keeps His promises. He said he would free the Israelites from slavery, and he did. God said he would lead them into the promised land, and he did. God was with him, or with them, all of them, in a pillar of a cloud during the day and a ball of fire at night. This was so people could visually see God. They could visually see that he was with them, he was protecting them, and it gives them that confidence. Well, God is with us today in the same way, but we have something that the Israelites did not have. We have the Bible, and we can pick that Bible up anytime during the day. We can do it first thing in the morning. We can do it at night when we can't sleep, when we're restless. We can pick up the Bible and we can read. We can read the stories and say, oh, you know what? I'm really facing this thing. Let me pick up the Bible. Who faced something similar to this? Oh, I made this mistake. I made this sin. How do I fix it? How do I change it? And then we can pull up the Bible and start looking for that. And even if you say, I don't know who committed this sin, and I don't know what mistake this person did, and I don't know how they handled it, the great thing about the Bible is in the back of it, you can look up any word you want to. I'm stressed, love, fighting, whatever it is, and God has set it up to where it'll take you right to those stories, and God will let it speak to you in a mighty way because you're facing something similar. So it's going to mean more to you. Now, if we were smart and we were not so hard-headed and stubborn, and I'll be the first to admit, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm pretty hard-headed. But if I was smart and I would let go of all my stubbornness and stop fighting, when I read the stories, I would remember those and say, I remember when so-and-so did this, and I remember what happened, so I don't want to have that same fate. So that's the good thing about the Bible, is when we read these stories, we could avoid sometimes taking the same path and the same road that they did. Other times we're unaware and we're in the midst of this trouble and this chaos before we even know it. And then we have to try to figure out how to get out of it. And that's what the Bible shows us to do. That's why God wrote it. That's why God guided it. And so we can choose any time when we're going to pick up that Bible. We can choose when we're going to apply the lessons to our life. And we can choose when we're going to allow God to lead us, to guide us, and to help us through our journey here on earth and through life. May God be with you in everything and in every way.